The moment the interview room door closed behind him, Rowan Mercer knew his last hope had slipped away. He didn't slam the door or argue with anyone. He simply lowered his eyes, adjusted the worn backpack hanging from one shoulder, and walked through the bright office lobby with quiet dignity. Hidden inside that backpack was a lunchbox, a folder filled with rejection letters, and a tiny stuffed fox his 6-year-old daughter had secretly tucked inside that morning for good luck. He had promised her everything would be okay. Now, he wasn't sure how he would keep that promise. Before we continue, if you believe kindness and second chances can change someone's life, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support helps us share more unforgettable stories that remind the world compassion still exists. The summer sun filled the glass building with golden light, but Rowan felt nothing except exhaustion. It had been nearly 8 months since he had lost his previous job when the manufacturing company where he worked closed unexpectedly. Since then, every interview had ended the same way. Employers admired his experience but hesitated after learning he needed flexible hours because he was raising his daughter alone. Some never called back. Others politely explained they had chosen someone more available. Every rejection chipped away at his confidence, yet every morning he forced himself to smile for little Ivy. She believed her father could fix anything. She didn't know the electricity bill was overdue or that Rowan had quietly skipped dinner several nights so she could have fresh fruit in her lunchbox. That morning, Ivy had hugged him tightly before school. She had drawn a picture of the two of them standing in front of a big office building, both smiling under a bright blue sky. Across the top she had written in uneven letters, "Daddy gets the job today." Rowan folded that drawing into his wallet before entering the interview. Now, as he stepped outside, the weight of failure felt heavier than ever. Inside the building, however, someone was watching. CEO Serena Caldwell had spent the morning reviewing candidates for a newly created operations leadership position. She rarely attended interviews personally anymore, but something had convinced her to observe this one from the adjoining conference room. Rowan's technical knowledge had been impressive. His honesty had been unforgettable. When asked where he saw himself in 5 years, he hadn't offered rehearsed corporate ambition. Instead, he quietly admitted that his greatest goal was giving his daughter a stable home where she never had to worry about tomorrow. Unfortunately, the hiring committee believed another applicant possessed stronger executive experience. The meeting ended. Everyone moved on. Except Serena. She replayed one small moment in her mind. As Rowan gathered his papers, one photograph had accidentally slipped onto the table. It showed a little girl laughing while sitting on his shoulders at what looked like a neighborhood carnival. Instead of hiding the picture awkwardly, Rowan had smiled with unmistakable pride before placing it carefully back into his folder. That smile reminded Serena of someone she hadn't thought about in years. Her own father. He had raised her alone after her mother passed away, working endless shifts while never allowing his daughter to feel unloved. Without thinking twice, Serena hurried toward the lobby. By then Rowan was already halfway across the plaza. "Wait!" Her voice echoed across the courtyard. Employees stopped walking. Security guards turned. Rowan looked back, confused, assuming he had forgotten paperwork. Instead, he saw the company's CEO running toward him in high heels under the bright afternoon sun. Neither of them cared who was watching. When Serena finally caught up, she was slightly out of breath. She apologized for stopping him but admitted she wanted to ask one more question that hadn't appeared on the interview sheet. She asked what he would do if no company hired him. Rowan looked toward the busy street before answering honestly. He said he would probably drive for food delivery during the evenings, clean offices overnight, and continue applying everywhere he could because quitting wasn't an option when a little girl depended on him. His answer carried no self-pity. Only determination. Serena remained silent for several seconds. Then she invited him back upstairs. Not for another interview. For a conversation. Over the next hour, she learned things no resume could ever reveal. She discovered Rowan had spent years mentoring younger employees without receiving recognition. He had volunteered to train struggling co-workers because he believed everyone deserved patience. He had once delayed his own promotion to care for his sick wife during her final illness. After losing her, he devoted every moment to raising Ivy while refusing to let grief define their lives. His career wasn't perfect. His resume wasn't flawless. But his character was extraordinary. Serena realized something her hiring committee had overlooked. Skills could be taught. Integrity could not. Later that afternoon, she called the department leaders together. Instead of reopening the original position, Serena created an entirely new role designed around Rowan's strengths. It included flexible scheduling, leadership development, and remote work options whenever necessary. Some executives questioned the decision. Serena answered simply. Companies spend millions searching for talent while often overlooking humanity. She refused to make that mistake. The following morning, Rowan received a phone call he never expected. When Serena offered him the position, he couldn't speak. Tears filled his eyes as he looked around the tiny apartment where unpaid bills covered the kitchen counter. For the first time in months, hope entered the room. That evening, Ivy ran into his arms after school. Instead of saying anything, Rowan handed her the official offer letter. She couldn't understand every word. But she recognized one sentence. "We are pleased to welcome you to our team." She screamed with excitement before wrapping her tiny arms around her father's neck. Neither noticed the tears rolling down his face. The weeks that followed transformed more than Rowan's career. His kindness quickly spread throughout the company. Instead of competing against coworkers, he encouraged collaboration. Instead of criticizing mistakes, he taught people how to improve. Employee morale climbed. Turnover dropped. Departments began working together more effectively than ever before. People weren't inspired because Rowan had all the answers. They were inspired because he never forgot what it felt like to struggle. Months later, Serena visited Rowan's office carrying a framed picture. It was Ivy's childhood drawing. The one that had declared, "Daddy gets the job today." Serena had quietly asked permission to enlarge it. She hung it on the office wall where everyone could see it. Beneath the picture was a small plaque. "Never underestimate the strength of someone who refuses to give up for the people they love." Employees often stopped to read those words. Many admitted they reminded them why their work mattered beyond profits and promotions. Years later, new hires would ask about the drawing on the wall. Every time, someone shared Rowan's story. Not because he had become a successful executive, but because he proved that resilience, humility, and compassion could open doors that qualifications alone never could. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with family and friends, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need hope today. Sparkling Heart special request, comment below with the words, "Kindness always finds a way," if you believe every hardworking parent deserves one true chance. As the sun set outside the office windows, Rowan picked up Ivy from school just as he had promised. They walked home hand in hand, laughing about homework, ice cream, and weekend adventures. The future was still uncertain, as life always is, but one thing had changed forever. A single act of compassion from someone willing to see beyond a failed interview had rewritten the story of a father and his daughter. Sometimes the greatest opportunities don't come from perfect resumes or flawless interviews. Sometimes they begin when one person chooses to chase after someone everyone else has already walked away from.